So now that we know how bones are formed and formed from cartilage, we need to look at both bone and cartilage growth. So there's two types of growth, and I'm going to focus on cartilage first. So there's appositional growth, appositional growth, and then there's interstitial growth. So appositional growth occurs on the surface. So it occurs on the surface. So basically, if you have cartilage, so you have your lacunae with your little cell in there, lacunae cell here. All right, and then over here you have the perichondrium. Okay, so what happens is you get chondroblasts that start secreting matrix on top of here. So it's secreting it out just right on top of the existing cartilage that's there. So it's just sort of growing wider. Okay, so it's new matrix on top of old. Okay, so the result is increase in diameter. Okay, so that's appositional growth. Interstitial growth, think inside. And inside the cartilage, again, we have lacunae. And in a lacunae is a chondrocyte. And when it's time for interstitial growth, which is growth in the middle or growth from the middle, then the chondrocyte divides. And when it divides, it becomes a chondroblast. So the chondroblasts then start to secrete matrix within their lacunae. And let me write that. So the chondrocyte divides into two chondroblasts. And then they secrete matrix. So they secrete matrix on the walls of their lacuna. And this makes the walls more dense. So it's just like adding more cement to the walls. Okay, so if you had when you have white bread, you can white bread is real fluffy, so you can squish it and make it real dense. Okay, so if you had walls made out of white bread, you could just add more white bread to it and squish it in there, and you wouldn't really make your room any smaller. It would just thicken the walls there. Okay, so bone growth is similar and the same. Okay, in bone appositional bone growth is the same as the way it is in cartilage. So you have your bone and you have osteoblasts that come from that inner layer of the periosteum, and those cells become osteoblasts, and then they secrete bone onto existing bone matrix there. All right, so that increases, again, the diameter of the bone. Okay, works the same way. Interstitial growth in bone is different. So interstitial bone growth is more like endochondral ossification. It starts at the plate. So if this is the plate, and here's the top of the bone, this is where it starts. So what happens is remember, cartilage is the only place that this thing is going to grow. It's not going to grow where the bone is. The bone's done, it's ossified. Okay, so it's only going to grow here at the plate. So in the plate is made of cartilage, right? Hyaline cartilage. If this is the plate here. So it's made of hyaline cartilage, and what happens is these hyaline cartilage cells, the chondroblasts, start to divide. And they divide and divide, and they divide and kind of stack up like little coins. So they're dividing and stacking up like this. And as you go down, erase this right here, because as we go down the plate where these cells are dividing, as we're going this way away from the perichondrium, we're losing nutrients. And so these guys that are down here are going to start getting fat, just like in endochondral ossification, and they're going to start to calcify. So then we have calcified cartilage here. So this is called like the calcification zone or something like that. So we have calcified cartilage. And then from below, because remember below, we've got spongy bone and bone marrow. So we've got blood. So, and in that blood, bone marrow, that's where blood cells are made. So osteoclasts are then produced that come up here and break down this calcified cartilage. And then osteoblasts will come in here and secrete osteoid. Okay, so it kind of pushes the epiphysis away from the diaphysis. So it's pushing the epiphysis this way, and it'll push this one that way, and it'll make the diaphysis longer. Diaphysis lengthens. So interstitial bone growth is growth in length, making you taller. Okay. Interstitial bone growth does not occur forever. Okay. So once the growth plate closes and there's no more cartilage there, no more growth in length will occur. Okay, once your growth plates close, you're as tall as you are, and that's all you're going to be. Okay, so interstitial bone growth, they call it that, but it's really more like endochondral ossification, where appositional bone growth is basically just like appositional cartilage growth. Okay.